What's going down, my beautiful people? Yes, yes, yes. Here we are, this beautiful Sunday. Oh, wow. It's already March. Like, how is it already March? Like, what I need to know is how come I don't get a discount on February? There is not 31 days in a month. So why do I gotta pay 31 days of rent and mortgage? I need to better understand. I don't understand. Can I get a refund? Can I get a refund too? No, I can't get a refund. I need a refund. Anyways, so what's going on, everybody, tonight? Thank you for joining below the surface. Y'all saw our new background here. Let me hit the background real quick. Where is it? And let me go off stage real quick. Even if you don't like it, I don't care. If you hate it, I don't care. Guess what? You watching the show, you joining the show. It's all good, and I got nothing but love for you. So, what's been going on with me? So, for the past, I think we had a show like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it was a little bit 2 weeks ago. There was like Super Bowl, and then Black History Month was going. We're gonna talk about Black History Month in a minute, and then Black History Month, and then this month, for everybody that knows or doesn't know, it is Women's International Month or Women's Month, or shout out to all the women out there doing everything that they're supposed to be doing and everything they ain't supposed to be doing and all that other good stuff. That's what I want to say to y'all. Keep shining, keep being bright, keep doing everything y'all doing because, oh, yeah, you guys are like, well, Riz, you were talking about yourself too. Listen, didn't I already tell y'all that? Like, we had this conversation already before. Yes, I do get that part of it, but I want to give shout out to all my beautiful ladies, like freaking, like Beyonce said, all my ladies. Well, not the single ones, but well, I know the single ones. We can talk about the single ones. But anyways, so yeah, so last month, Black History Month. So for Black History Month, I think it was an interesting month. It's always the shortest month of the year. But everybody else says, "Oh, you get all the props and you get." Well, where's our month? Really, with everything that's going on in America right now, y'all want to talk about this? Like, stop it, stop it. Let people have their stuff. Let people, talk about the things that they're talking about. Whatever. Let's do what we do. So one of the things in Black History Month that always just for me personally that gets me a little perturbed. Yeah, I said perturbed. A little perturbed is let okay. I know we always talk about like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, but what about the people? What about the unsung heroes? Like what about the mom and pops that you don't hear about? What about those people? Like let's talk about those people. I'm grateful that we talk about all those people and everything that they do. I'm super grateful for it because if you don't know about your past, you're dang sure not going to know about where you're at today. And you're not going to know how to move forward. And as you can see right now in the world, apparently Israel didn't learn about their past. And that's going to shock a lot of people. Oh my God, we're going to talk about Israel for about 2.2 seconds. Yes, yes. Did they not remember the book of Anne Frank? Did they not remember everything that we learned in high school, junior high, whenever you read the book? And do you not see the destruction and the things that you're doing today? So their argument, oh no, Hamas is there. Hamas is like killing other people. Yes, yes, they are. But is Hamas and Palestine, the Palestinian people, are they the same? That's like coming to America and saying all the Hispanics. So we got to attack America because of all the Hispanics. That's like we got to come to America and attack all the blacks. That's like coming to America and we got to attack all the Asians. Like, stop it. We know that there's a pocket. We know Hamas is bad. I think everybody across the world, everybody agrees, right? Hamas is bad. But Hamas is not babies. Okay, like a baby, like you good on doing some ethnic cleansing on some babies? You good on doing ethnic cleansing on 65-year-old men and women? Uh, what? Okay, so apparently, in my opinion, and this is only my opinion, you can like my opinion, you can hate my opinion, or you can just go on wherever you want to go on my personal opinion. But my opinion is, man, just cease the fire, stop doing all the ridiculousness. Yes, I agree that we got to take out Hamas 1000%. But stop killing these babies. Stop making these TikToks and these Snapchats and the Facebooks and the Instagram about everybody getting killed and doing dances and going cooking in these people's homes because you're proud and you saying that, oh, you're proud about, like, come on. Like, you got a grandstand like that? Like, do we really seriously have to grandstand like that? Things that make you go, and why? Like, why? Anyways, all right, that was my rant, and I ran it for about 30 seconds or something like that. I don't know. So what else has been going on in my life? So right now, remember I told you guys I'm a career college student. Yeah, I'm starting to not like being a career college student. I just had I think it was just like my midterm. We just had the midterms, and kicked my butt. Like, I was like, ooh, oh wait, let me not show my kids this grade that I got. Ooh, and I be on them about pay grades. I was like, other grades on quizzes and pop quizzes. I've been good, right? And then on the little midterm, ooh, I didn't fail. For y'all out there wondering, I did not fail, but that's what I got. Okay, and if you can read my lips, you can hear what I said. That's what I got, and that's all y'all need. Ain't nobody saying nothing else but nothing else on that. But no, school's good. It's going good right now. It's very interesting. I'm learning a lot of new topics. I have no clue how I'm grinding out all this time in my day, but having supportive people in my life, it makes it better. And yet, my SM is supportive. My boo, she's supportive. Yeah, they everybody's supportive and got my back. I'm like, what are you doing? What's going on? Asking me all the questions. So I got all the support. So if there's one thing that I can say for sure is that having the support in your life, having those people in your life to have your back, I don't even know how to explain that. So shout out to those people out there that are supporting me, grinding for me and all that good stuff. What else has been going on? Oh, I just did a presentation. I just did a presentation for my 9 to 5, and it was a great thing. We just did the APAC thing for school. Everybody knows, I think I told everyone, we started the APAC at my youngest school, and we did the presentation, did the award ceremony. If you go on my Instagram or on my Facebook, you guys can actually see my live speech. They messed around and let me get up there on a hot mic. Who does that? Who does that? So yeah, I got up there on the hot mic. The superintendent and all them people were there, like all the big wigs. So I did pretty good with that. So super excited about that. What else is going on? There's not, you know what? There's nothing else going on. Like I said, besides school, this 9 to 5 thing. Look at what's oh, what's up? I'm talking to everybody on YouTube right now. Yo, Quetta, what's going down? What's up, my beautiful Nubian queen? I see you in you in your boo thing. I saw your boo thing doing his basketball thing. And no, I am not about to change the topic. You already know it's called Below the Surface. And I'm gonna get into stuff that people like, people dislike, and people see that they don't even want to talk about. I'm talking about everything. I don't care. You either like it, you love it, you hate it. It's all good. We don't talk about those things, and that's the problem with America today. We don't have the conversations. We don't have the conversations. I'm gonna tell you what she said. Yeah, I'm gonna put you on blast right now, girl. That's what she said. She said I better change the subject, and that was probably back when I was talking about Palestine. But I was trying to go back and forth. I'm reading what's going on Instagram right now. I'm reading Facebook right now. I'm trying to keep up. It's all good. But anyways, I got nothing but love for you, girl. And if y'all need to get your hair done, you need some braids, or y'all need some sweet butter, y'all need to add Miss Quetta Green to your page. She got that sweet butter. Y'all see my skin, right? You see that? That's sweet butter, baby. Look at that. Ooh, 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 ooh. That's sweet butter. I'm telling you right now. That's sweet butter. You need your hair did? Hit her up. Hit her up. Anyways, that's enough that's enough promotion for you, Quetta. I got your back though, girl. I got your back. And tell your baby I see her. Her baby is balling in basketball right now. A freshman, and made the varsity team and is balling out of control. Got her letter and everything. So shout out to her. What up, Mr. Bobby Jack? That's what I'm talking about. I'm keeping it real. That's what's wrong with people. I'm keeping it REAL. You gotta keep it real, because if you don't keep it real, then there's no point. There's no point to do anything that you're doing today, at all. So my co-host, and yes, I'm calling her out right now because she's here, and I have a feeling that she's gonna be late, or she's about to tell me like I couldn't log on, or my internet is messed up. But that's okay. That's okay. I got a special treat for y'all tonight. Man, let me tell you. Look. I gotta put my chapstick on real quick. Hold on. Mm, yeah. Yeah. Gotta put my chapstick on real quick. So my special guest tonight, and it goes back to Black History Month. So during Black History Month, uh, a lot of, if you guys are following me on Instagram, a lot of things were popping up on my feed, right? And one of the things that popped up on my feed was the Mormon Church. And I was like, huh, I don't know nothing. I don't know too. At that time, I didn't know too much about the Mormon Church. What I did know about the Mormon Church is that it's those, like, don't tell nobody, for lack of a better word, Caucasian people riding around on the bikes in the neighborhood, knocking on doors with their little white t-shirts and the things in their thing, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And that's what all of us, like, let's be real. That's what all of us envision in our brain when we think about the Mormon Church. And then I remember, I was like, wait a minute. Uh, y'all remember, if y'all watched the other show, y'all remember like the football moms. I remember y'all remember about them football moms, right? You never, like, when you put your kids in sports, I'm telling you, you never know the people that you come across. You never know the long lasting friendships that you have, right? And there was this one lady, and I remember one night we were talking, and we were talking because we were vibing on. I know we were drinking and stuff. Just don't tell nobody. And we were vibing on religion. Like, wait a minute. So y'all was drinking Jesus? Yes, we were. I will plead the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth on that. We were doing it. So we were vibing on that, and I was telling her my backstory on growing up Jehovah's Witness, and then I guess at that time, this is like almost like a year ago, right? At that time, uh, she was like in the middle about coming out about being Mormon. So I didn't know much about her backstory. I didn't know much about anything. She just gave me little bits and niblets, after that point, but she felt comfortable about it. And then just one night, boom, she hit me with it all, like her background and everything. So I want to bring her to the stage right now. I'm going to call her M, because when you guys, I'm going to just say M, but her name is Emily. She is a beautiful business owner, like, don't trip, like, business owner, mother, wife, educated woman, just a beautiful person all around. Let's not, let's do what we do on this show right now. I want to give a shout out and props to a beautiful friend of mine. Em, how you doing today, girl? What's going on?
Hi, I'm doing good. Doing good.
So, you like your intro?
I did.
Like
It was
that?
great.
Like
It's
that?
beautiful. Thank you. I love that this is on International Women's Month too. You touched on that, and like here we are, women in business and doing our thing. Love it.
That's what I'm talking about. We're doing our thing. So tell the people about you. I'm gonna put you on stage for a second. So just give everybody a little snippet on what you're all about, and one of the reasons, like I told everybody, why I even wanted you on the show, uh, is for Mormons. But and then just go into a little bit of your background about that. I'm gonna give you like 2 minutes. I'm gonna get off.
Ooh. All right. Well, like she said, my name is Emily. Um, I am 39 years old. And I think the reason I'm on the show is because, like she said, it's coming up on a year, but not really. It's really, to me, super fresh and new. I was raised Mormon my whole life, LDS, like born and raised. And I think that the reason that it was intriguing for Riz to bring me on the show is because I am fifth generation from like the founder of the church. So the title of the show is Joseph Smith's grandchild. That would be me. He is my great, 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 four greats. Actually, he's my uncle. His brother Hiram is my great, 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 great grandfather. So you can imagine when you are raised this way, like it's not just a belief, it's my blood. It's my family line. So I really believed it all. Now I'm going to say this. Ever since I was a little girl and being raised in the youth programs and everything, some of the things that they would teach just didn't sit well with me. So I always kind of had this like skepticism, I guess you want to say, I would say, but I still very much believed. I was like a blind believer because that's how you were raised, like from your childhood. So I, when I was old enough to start like having an opinion of my own, I started to kind of just pull away from being like an active member. And what there's different terms from like you're an active member or you are an inactive member or you are like an apostate and you have left the church. So I was just only an inactive member probably from the time I was about 20. Just kind of stepped away out of my parents' house, doing my own thing. Still a very good girl, very like had lots of morals and no drinking, no smoking, no coffee for my whole life.
Did you just bust out the coffee cup and say, no, I got a red cup too, but I got water?
Yeah. Yeah. So from about the time I was 20, I was questioning and independent. I also at that time met my significant other who is Polynesian. He's Tongan. He's from the island of Tonga. And he has
a handsome dude, y'all.
He has beautiful brown skin that I've always very much been attracted to. And I hope that's okay that I say that.
Hey, if he comes and tries to beat me up later, then I'm gonna blame you.
No. So yeah, he was not raised Mormon. He was raised Methodist. And just kind of a little back history. The island of Tonga is primarily, I mean, they're all Christian, but primarily they are either Mormon, LDS, or Methodist, or they call like, it's like a Tongan religion. It says Tonga. Okay, so they like the majority of the island is Mormon. So it was kind of rare that I met this guy at a Mormon church dance. His Mormon cousin drug him to the dance, and I don't know, just immediately we clicked, and that's who I ended up marrying. But he took me on this long road and this long journey that led me further and further away from the church, but never, ever pushed me. He was always very respectful of my parents and the way I was raised. He loved that about me, that I was like this nice, pure little white.
Oh, so you was one of them. You was one of them, huh? I see. So you was one of them. Got it.
So yeah. That's kind of my background. Very Mormon raised, very, very much believe in. And quick note, being inactive, all the while, still very much believed that the gospel topics, the things that they taught, their teachings were true. I really believed that the Book of Mormon was true. I believed that Joseph Smith really was a prophet and that he really did see God and Jesus Christ. I really have believed that my whole life up until July of this last year, and that's where we'll kind of get into more.
Okay, we'll get into that because I want to make sure the people that are watching right now, because in your intro you said that this is the way I was raised, this is the way that I believe. So for people out there that have no clue what a Mormon is, like break that down. Like what is the, like, how were you raised? What do you believe?
Whew, okay, I mean it's a lot, but let me kind of just start. So Joseph Smith, those of you who don't know, it starts with Joseph Smith. He's the founder. Like, I hate to make this comparison, but it's now absolutely the truth. Like, it's the L. Ron Hubbard of like Scientology. He created Scientology. Joseph Smith is the founder and creator, the prophet of the Mormon religion. And they get really offended when you say Mormon because they have changed it over time so that you say LDS or Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's a mouthful, but it's disrespectful to say Mormon now because they want to put the emphasis on Jesus Christ. So, yeah, so Joseph Smith, when he was this is what I was taught, you guys. This is my version of what I was taught. Okay, so Joseph Smith, when he was 14 years old, it was like a big kind of awakening at on the East Coast. All the people had come from England and were starting to settle, and it was the like, oh gosh, it was like a religious uproar. People were all trying to proselyte that their church was the true church. Well, Joseph Smith, this 14-year-old kid, was really torn because all these churches, he grew up Methodist, actually. His family was going to the Methodist church. Sorry, my husband is.
Look, everybody's like, yo, you on? I think you on. That's you better put them on silent.
I did it.
Go ahead.
He goes to, he reads in the Bible. There's a scripture, I believe it's in John, where basically it says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God. So he goes outside of his house into this grove of trees. It's like the forest, the grove of trees, and kneels down and he starts to pray to God, just basically to ask, what's the one true church? What's the true church? Of all these churches that are preaching, what's the true church? And then he describes that when he's 14 years old, that darkness came over him and he felt like this overwhelming darkness. And then immediately after a brightness, and there were two beams of light, and they were personages, and there were two personages that came to him. And it was God the Father and his son, Jesus Christ, both all white, kind of like white beard, white robe. And the God figure, the father figure, said, "This is my beloved son, hear him," and shared a message basically that this church is, the true church is not on the earth. And you are now going to be the prophet to reveal the modern day revelation. And you're going to be the modern day prophet to reveal what I have protected from all these years, as to what the true gospel of Jesus Christ is, what the true church is. So here we are now. You're the one true chosen. 14-year-old boy who had a third grade education, came from a very poor family of farmers. And actually now I learned they don't teach me this. I just learned this, like swindlers and stealers.
I wonder.
No, they were very, very dishonest people. They claimed to be treasure diggers. So they would charge you, here, we're going to charge you this much money, and we're going to dig up on your land that you own and find treasures. And you're going to, pawn those or sell those and get rich. So that's how they got rich. And Joseph and his dad and brothers all actually spent time in jail and prison for these things. And they have charges against them that you can go up and look all the files. Never was taught that growing up. Okay. So yeah, that's the belief is. So then he goes to his family, his parents, and everybody believes him. There were those who did not follow. They were the mobs. We were taught they were the mobs that would always fight against him, calling him a liar. But he stood up for what was right always. And he was a martyr after years and years of trying to fight. Oh, and eventually years later, he was like 23 when an angel came back to him because he was faithful. He was spreading the word of God. And an angel came to him and revealed where he could find these gold plates that were buried in the ground. And this is the Book of Mormon. These plates are the Book of Mormon. Okay. So this angel revealed to him where to find these plates. And now they were in ancient Egyptian language. So he couldn't understand them. So he needed to translate them. We were taught that he used the power of the Spirit and these special tools called the Urim and Thummim. I know, some weird language here. I know. And he translated it. So like while he's using these special tools or spectacles or something, again, this is my perspective. He's translating the Book of Mormon from this ancient Egyptian script into what is now the scriptures that the Mormons like live by. And it's like an extension of the Bible. So it's not in replace of the Bible. It's an addition to the Bible that the Lord was protecting and preserving for the right time back on earth.
That is that sounds like a lot for a kid to have to take in and to learn and to like, oh wow.
And when I tell you the pride because he was my great uncle, and that his brother who was along with him always, Hiram, was my great grandfather. Man, like I was so proud to be a descendant of the Smith family. Like my family gets to go and gets invited to the Smith family reunions still to this day that are like kind of held secret and sacred. And you have to have special invitation. There's like special portions of like the church history buildings and BYU campus of their college in Utah that you can only have access to if you are a Smith family descendant.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
So tell me about you just growing up. Like you talked about like some of the religious stuff that you learned about, but just like growing up, I hear that you were proud and you were prideful, but you didn't know any different. Because that's, as anything, you don't really know any different. So just talk to me about growing up and how you felt with that.
Okay, so growing up, I am from a really, really big family. My mom is one of 11 kids. And also, just so side note, I'm related to the Smith families through my mom's line. And they all just have lots and lots of kids. Like if you don't already know that Mormons have a bunch of kids, that's just what they do. It's part of their doctrine.
They be doing it. They be doing it and doing it. Like no disrespect or nothing like that, but they be doing it.
Hey, we know how it needs to get done. So
okay. Alrighty then.
But yeah, if you know Mormons, you know that they have a lot of kids. But I am number 6 of 9 kids, and I loved coming from a big family, like always. And like when I go to family reunions, I have 86 first cousins. So like small family reunions are a lot. There's a lot. There's hundreds of people there. But when we would go to our extended ones, like every other year, we'd have like a big family homestead up in like Snowflake, Arizona. And we would have like 800 people at these family reunions. Yeah, big families. And the religion is so much a part of those reunions. Like we dressed up as the pioneers and did all the things that they did over in Nauvoo, Illinois, and where the church was founded, in Kirkland, Ohio. And we would, every meal was with a prayer, opening and closing. Every family gathering, there was like a sermon, basically a church lesson taught. And it's just like prime indoctrination, now that I know that that's the language. As a kid, going to church every Sunday. So you go every Sunday when I was younger, it was 3 hours. So we would get up every Sunday morning. We would go to church and you sit for the first hour in the big congregation. You take the sacrament, which is like communion, just bread and water, no wine. Bread and water, you make your covenants with the Lord, and people would give up and give talks. And there was the bishop who's the leader, and he ran he presided over the meeting. Second hour was usually Sunday school. So you go in and you're in your individual age group classes, and there you have more lessons, more indoctrination. And then the third hour was like all the women would gather with the Women's Relief Society. All the young women would gather for young women's, young men, which is like the young women's and young men's are 12 to 18 years old. And then all the adult men gather for and then the young children they go to primary. And in primary, again, with the indoctrination, all the primary songs, all the little songs that they teach you to keep you focused. Eye on the prize, hold to the iron rod, which I'm not even go down that, but it's Book of Mormon lingo. Yeah, you just don't want to.
Yeah, I'm like, you bring it up. I had the, what? What is, like, you got to break that down to me real quick.
The iron rod. So the very first chapter, like one of the very first chapters of the Book of Mormon it's a story, which is actually very entertaining to read. If only it were true and not plagiarized from another book back in its time. Is the story of a man named Lehi who is commanded by the Lord to leave Jerusalem and go to the promised land. So he takes his 3 sons and his wife, and they travel in the wilderness for like years. And he has a dream. And Lehi's dream, he sees like a tree with like good fruit. And he sees a large and spacious building where like the sinners of the world are all partying and dancing and drinking and having a great time. And then on the side of this large and spacious building is this like pit of hell. But on the other side of the pit of hell is this long rod, the iron rod. It's like a railing. Think of like you're holding onto a railing. And the idea is that those who are holding on to the rod, they're sticking true. The rod represented the gospel. So you stay true to the gospel and to the church. And the second you let go or you start to get weak, you're going to fall in that pit of hell, or you're going to go into the large and spacious building, and they're going to suck you in, and you're going to be a sinner, and your life is going to be ruined because you let go of the rod and you tested the waters. Or on the side of the rod, that's the good side, leads to this tree, this massive tree that is eternal life. So you can either stick to the rod that leads to the tree of eternal life, or you can fall away and become an apostate and live in the large and spacious building while people are drinking coffee.
This is a lot. You got a lot going on. Wow, it's a lot of fictional stuff, a lot of, I don't even know what you can say right now. And I love you. However, Q is here. Her technical difficulties, y'all know. Her technical difficulties are done. So I'm gonna go ahead and put her on the screen real quick. Yo, Q, what up, girl? How you doing tonight?
What up, y'all? Sorry about the delay.
Happening?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just again with the technical issues. I'm so sorry, everyone. So sorry. I've really been sitting here struggling though.
Listen, you just don't have to jump in. We learning about Mormons. We learning about the Mormons, or not even. Don't call them the Mormons because they can't be called Mormons. Because you really got to say the LDS, because then they get pissed off. They might come censor us. Yeah, the LDS. You got to throw that in. LDS. Throw it in.
I caught the tail ends of what she was saying there. So
right. So I just wanted that was you coming
educational.
up to speed real quick. That was you coming up to speed real quick. So please, Intergene, ask whatever questions you want to ask. MQ, that's where it is. So M. So one of the things that in that, wow, I swear, like this is like some fiction. I swear everybody was high back then. Were they high coming up with all this stuff?
They were. Wait till I get to that part. Like,
too. I'm like, they had to have been high. Because you telling me about some spears, you telling me about some prophets coming to see them, and this is in the 1800s, right? Like we're talking about 1800s.
I think 1863.
Right. We talking about those times. So was they on them trains?
Yes.
Did they talk about that?
I'm not even gonna beat around the bush. I will get to that right now. Let me address it.
Please.
So another thing that Joseph Smith Sr. and Lucy Mack were his parents, were Joseph and Hiram's parents. Okay. And one of the other things that they did to make money was they didn't have big pharma back then. There was no pharmaceutical companies. You either drank whiskey to like pain meds or whatever, or you would do these homeopathic like natural remedies. So Lucy Mack and the family would make natural remedies from the earth. They didn't know it at the time, but they were definitely partaking of hallucinogens and mushrooms and lots of other things. So again, church doesn't teach that. I only learned this after leaving and finding out a whole world of truths after my damn near 40 years of being in this religion. So
okay. So you say 40 years, and you look beautiful for that. I'm not going to even talk about that.
I'm almost.
So going like when you're in your 20s and you get out in the real world and you're seeing stuff, what is your thought process then in that too? Because from society's standpoint, we're looking at all this LDS stuff, because this is when the transition with LDS. We're looking at all this LDS stuff from the outside, and you're like, yo, you get to have 5 wives, and you get to, I'm not trying to throw no shade, but you get to go have sex with your second daughter's cousin, like all this other stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so why is like, and you're in your 20s and your 30s, why is that not eye-opening for you versus once you start getting older and having kids?
Okay. So one thing, this is like another, like I'm going through a lot of religious trauma right now because I'm learning a lot of this stuff, because there are certain things that they used to teach that they don't teach anymore, which we're going to touch on that. The video that you saw on Instagram, right? They never taught any of that to us. So they call it apologetics. So basically things that were not accepted socially in the past that they moved away from, they just find a way to not even really apologize, just excuse it away. Well, there's always a reason. And the thing that's so convenient about this religion / cult is that they they have the gift of modern revelation. So what that does is it gives them an excuse to just say that any and everything could be a modern day revelation. So once upon a time, it was okay it was part of the church history and part of the doctrine to have multiple wives and to marry as many as you could, because we were told that it was multiply and replenish the earth. There are spirits up in heaven waiting. They need a body. They're waiting to get a body to be able to have their souls experience this life. And this life is just a test for us to see where we're going to go in the next life. So that was part of the belief, but my time, not something that was practiced. There are sects, S-E-C-T-S, sects.
You're trying not to say sex on here. I saw that. But go ahead.
There are pieces of the church, people who have broken off of the original Mormon church and started their own different religions. There's the FLDS, which we've all seen on Netflix and all of that. They're the fundamentalists, Latter-day Saints, who do still very much practice polygamy, and they are still very much like they live on their compounds, dressed like pilgrims with the long braids down their hair. That's the FLDS. And I was taught all my whole life, we have no association with them. They're a completely different religion. Always been taught that. There are RLDS, the Reformed Latter-day Saints. They are the saints, the religion that actually stayed back in Nauvoo when Joseph Smith and Brigham Young came up with, we need to move west. We need to get out of here because there's so much hate for us in this region of the United States that we need to start moving. So then the pioneers trekked across the United States where they settled in Salt Lake City. But there were a group of them that stayed, and they said they believe this is the promised land. We're staying. One of those persons was Joseph Smith's wife. Emma Smith was like, nah, I ain't leaving. I'm staying. So there are different parts. And as my Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Mormonism that I was raised in, was taught that those are all wrong. They were apostates. They fell away. They were changing the doctrine, and they were the evil ones. They were large and spacious building people. Okay. When I grew up being taught this stuff, it was very much Christ-centered. There was a lot of love. It did make sense because I have always just believed in just be a good person, love one another, spread love, light, kindness, goodness, all of that. And the church does a lot of that. At least they say they do. That's what they like to promote. And so growing up, I just really always felt, I hate this word, but very privileged to have the knowledge of the one true church. I just felt like I feel bad for everybody else that doesn't have this knowledge. If they ever want to come to me, I will teach them. Yeah, it's not a perfect church. They have flaws. There are things wrong with it. There are things I don't agree with. Two very sensitive topics. And again, we'll get to those. But I still believe that this is the true church. And I believe that what happens in their Mormon temples are different than churches, is very sacred and very important work on this earth. So I didn't. I saw, some of those other churches were crazy that they broke off and we're not associated with them. But yeah, like I said, just this last July is when all the truth came tumbling down on me like a ton of bricks, and still dealing with that trauma.
Thanks. Q, what you got, girl? Because I see you over there. You're like in wow. So
I'm
go.
just like, whew, I came in at the end. So I just, I had a big thing, a post earlier this week with religion, and I just don't even like to talk about religion with people because it's such it's such a sticky subject, and people get so offended. My only question would be okay, you found the one true church. Don't they all serve the same God?
And that's
I don't see how. Yeah, one set of rules versus the next set of rules is better than any other. If it is making you a better person, then why are we fighting about religion? I don't get that.
Yeah, no, I definitely, that's where, so one part of the conversation that you missed is that, maybe you heard it or not, but just from a very young age, I believed a lot of this stuff was true, but in my heart, a lot of it didn't sit well with me. I'll just tell you first and foremost, one of the things that really hasn't sat well with me, and I know it's not just the Mormon church that feels this way and teaches this, but the whole same-sex marriage, same-sex attraction didn't sit well with me. One of my most favorite cousins, like from a young age, I was about 10 and he was probably 7. And we all knew that he was very feminine presenting. And I knew that he was going to come out of the closet before he knew he was going to come out of the closet. And I remember being a little girl worried for him and sad for him and scared for him that he's not going to get to obtain the highest level of glory, which Mormons believe in 3 heavens, 3 levels of heaven. A whole nother
Wait,
thing.
wait, no, there's 3 levels of heaven. Better like 3.
I don't need to laugh.
You're gonna go like one of the 2. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the 3? I need to know. Do you need to know? But you like, but don't.
So there are 3 lists. I had to just say them in my head. So there is the celestial kingdom. Celestial kingdom is the top. That's the highest. That's where you want to go. Then there's the telestial kingdom. That's the middle one. And then there's the terrestrial.
So is this like,
and then
middle class, lower class, and poverty? Like, what are we talking here? Like,
yeah.
Is there levels? So if you're like a straight up do-gooder, you get to the top. And then if you're not so good, you like range in the middle. And then if you like, you almost made it, but quite not, you like at the bottom. Like, how do you,
and then there is outer darkness. So I guess
outer darkness.
Outer darkness is literally the most evil of the evil spirits that even after death are presented with the truth of God's plan and still deny it. You will be going to outer darkness. To the terrestrial kingdom, the bottom one, is basically after this life, you die, and then you're presented with the truth of God's plan, and you can either accept or deny it. Now, you let's say you accept it, then you'll be advanced up to the celestial kingdom. Well, you will learn all about the gospel because you didn't accept it or you didn't learn about it here on this earth. And then you will be glorified to the celestial kingdom eventually, once you have basically proven that you buy into all the bullshit. Now, if you decide, nah, I'm chilling here in the terrestrial kingdom, I don't want to go, you were a good enough person on earth, but you maybe were dishonest and you didn't, whatever, then you can just chill down in the terrestrial kingdom and not advance up. Yeah.
So these are choices. These are choices based on lifestyle,
and then whether or not you choose to accept. So this also note the celestial kingdom. The reason Mormons believe that it's so important for them to live a good life on this earth and follow all the rules is because here on this earth, you have the opportunity to get the work done and be taught so that when you die, you go straight to the celestial kingdom. You don't need to be tested. So that essentially is what happens in the Mormon temples. If you make it to the Mormon...
So you mentioned there a quick moment ago that if you don't learn, so say by default, someone never picks up this information, then what? They just linger and have to do it again by default? Like,
and I am giving you my best understanding because really it's kind of unclear. And when you go and ask like a pro, you ask a prophet, you ask somebody who knows, they're going to give you this answer. These are answers that we just don't have yet. And it requires faith and study the scriptures, and you talk to God and you pray and you will get your answers. You'll get the clarity that you need. Yeah. So this is my understanding of the answers that I have gotten and made sense of in my mind from like childhood. But like literally we're taught, like I should bring up the image of it's like the plan of salvation is what they call it. So when those Mormon missionaries that you were talking about, they go knocking on your door and they say, we have a message for you. They want to teach you about the plan of salvation, which is basically how to live with your family for eternity. Because depending on your decision that you make, you could be separated from your family. So you can have loved ones.
They fear monger. Sounds nothing but fear mongering.
Yep.
Yeah, wow. That's what, and that's the thing that I have with religion. So, as you know, I'm a spiritual person. Religion was thrown on me at a very young and early age. So I did spend a majority of my childhood in church. That's why I won't step in one now, and that's not a secret or anything. And it's not that I don't believe in a higher source or God. It's just I don't believe in these man-made rules and religion because they are absolutely, they could do good on some levels. But I think that if any religion is helping a person become a better person, then I'm all for it. But if we're ripping people apart because by default you just didn't grow up to learn this way, or by default you are raised in a different situation or setting, that you have to rinse and repeat or go to a lower level, or I don't know, to me just sounds like too many rules and regulations that I would rather go on the inside and tell me to listen to my own DNA to tell me how to move forward and progress spiritually. Because the people in the Bible, not none of them, didn't have Bibles to go off of in the very beginning of time. So, that's kind of my little spiel and input on that. Not that I down anybody's belief. I just say if it is making you a great person, great. If it's getting you to that next level to evolve, great. But it is always a plethora of information. So I would recommend that to study all of them to get the highest, best understanding before you would just settle on one to think that that's the only way to get to where you need to go. I mean, doing things by default and being left behind just because you didn't get quite to that learning level is mind-blowing to
That's
me.
mind-boggling. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
I'm right there with you.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, like you brought up, like, to me it was like a year ago. For you said July. So what happened in July to where you woke up and said, you know what? One, this is a cult. And two, what the hell have I been doing my whole 40 years in existence? Like,
Yeah.
what happened? What happened?
So before I get to July, I want to fast forward to when I was dating my husband, who was not Mormon. Okay. Just to quickly touch on what Q said, if it's making you happy, if it's fulfilling you, if it is not causing any harm or pain, by all means, do what makes you happy. I'm not here to pull anybody away. I'm not here to convince you that you're wrong. I'm not here to do any of that. I really just want like peace. I want you to feel loved. I want you to feel a community. And if that fulfills you, I'm happy for you.
Right.
But for me, I felt there an emptiness. And I feel like I should have known as a 20-year-old girl, the fact that I would even consider dating a non-member should have been like a little ding, 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 and I fell in love with him right away. And I remember going to my dad after meeting him and spending a couple time, going on a couple dates with him and realizing like, I really like this guy. And I think that he's great. And I'm going to tell my parents about him. And I told my dad, I said, Dad, how would you feel if I had a boyfriend? And he said, what? I'm fine with that. Like, who is he? Bring him around the family. And I said, well, how would you feel if he's not Mormon? And he said, does he play football? I said, yes.
Next best thing.
And he said, well, then it's okay. He can be your boyfriend, but just don't marry him. I did. I married him. And my dad
did it make you a better person? Did it make you feel bad to go against what you wanted?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you and tell you it did. It didn't make me a bad person, but it did make me feel bad and guilty. I felt
only because of Dad or the whole religion itself.
Yeah. So I will admit to you that probably the first 5 years, maybe even 10 years of my marriage were harder than they needed to be because I still so much believed and still just wanted him to get baptized. And I wanted him to be the priesthood holder that my dad was and lead our family and be the church going guy that my family was and all the men in my family were. I held him to this standard and this expectation that now I feel so horrible and guilty for. And it caused a lot of strain on my marriage. And that's hard for me to even admit that I was the cause of most of the problems in my marriage early on. Because he was very kind and loving to my family. He never was judgmental. He has family himself that were Mormon because, like I said, most of the island of Tonga is Mormon in LDS. And so my dad says, don't marry him. But we date for another 2 years. He asks for my hand in marriage, and my dad says, look, I'm going to say yes because I see how much you love my daughter, but I need you to promise me that one day you're going to get baptized and you're going to take her to the temple to be sealed, because you can't just be married by law here. You have to be sealed for eternity in the Mormon temples. Otherwise, your marriage is not celestial and not eternal. It'll be till death do you part. And Mormons do not believe till death do us part. So he did. He sat in the parking lot of Soup Plantation in the back of my parents' car with me having tears down my eyes and him making the promise. I love her, and I promise that one day I will do that. I will get baptized when the time is right, when I feel it's ready, I'm ready, and I will take her to the temple. And let me tell you, he is a man of his word, because shortly after we got married, we lived in Europe for 2 years. It's when I had my first beer. I drank beer for the first time, first alcohol.
And first there.
And my first wine, yes. Oh, sorry, I skipped past a huge important part of why the trauma that I have, okay? So we were dating, and I was going to cosmetology school. So I decided to move out of my parents' house here in Redlands and go live with my uncle and aunt in Brea. And at the time, my uncle was a bishop of the singles ward. Basically, it's a congregation of all young single adults, and he was the leader of it. So he was going to become my bishop. I was going to move into his ward, into his home. He was going to become my bishop. My husband, well, my boyfriend at the time, was living in Norwalk, so about 20 minutes away from Brea, where I was going to be. So it was going to be closer to him, and it was going to be great and cool. Well, then right as I start cosmetology school, he got offered to go play football in Texas. And so we had a couple months to decide what we were going to do. Well, we were sexually active. Just going to put it like that.
I thought you not even supposed to kiss.
I was sinning. I was a sinner.
Jesus saw that.
Yes, he did. So I was feeling guilty about that. We weren't married, but I was like, look, he's going to move away to Texas. It's going to be great. We're going to have time apart. We're going to get worthy, so then we can get married in the temple or whatnot. And I'm just going to kind of keep it to myself. I'm not going to go sit in front of a Mormon bishop and confess my sins to have him tell me that I am not worthy or whatever. Okay. Well, I opened my big mouth to someone who I thought was trusted, who was a family friend, not family, and she was not Mormon. And we kind of talked to each other about our lives and our boyfriends and our relationships, and opened up to her that we were sexually active. And she went and told a whole bunch of my family. And she told a cousin, who then told her mom, because it broke her heart. She was so concerned about me. Her mom told her dad. The dad called my uncle, who was going to be my bishop, who then told his wife, who told my mom. But then he also called my dad, that he felt like it was his job to let my dad know that Scotty was dipping in the pool. And so
that's like a whole thing of telephone gossip and everything else.
For a natural act there. That's all. It went through a whole process.
It did. It was a telephone game. And then it was like 2 days after that, I guess, I was working for my family's business. We were catering a wedding, and it was late at night, and I was cleaning up, and my dad comes out and tells me to sit down at one of the chairs, and he looks me in the eye and holds my hand, and he said, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want nothing but the truth. And I was like, okay. And he's like, are you and Scotty having sex?
Oh God, I would have died.
And I was like, no, yes. And I couldn't lie to him. And I said, yeah, we are. We love each other and we want to get married. And he basically cried and said, he might as well have broken into my house and stolen all of my precious china and jewelry and jewels, because that's what your virtue is worth to me.
So you're a possession?
Yeah. Made me feel really, really guilty and sad. And then, of course, I leave and I call Scotty right away, sobbing my eyes out. And he says, I'm coming out there. I'm going to come be with you. So he does. He drives out after work late, like 1 a.m, comes out, and we just sit in the car and cry together. And then my dad the next morning says, can you ask Scotty to come out here so we can have a family meeting? This man drove out from LA again after he was with me till probably 3 a.m, went home, drove all the way home because there was no way he could spend the night. And then he turned around and came right back out so that he could sit in a meeting with my whole family. And my dad asked, and I'm telling you, I have a big family, all my siblings, their spouses, those who had spouses, grandkids, all the younger siblings sitting in a family meeting. And he asked, my dad said, I'd like to go around in a circle and have every single one of you guys tell Emily and Scotty how what they have done affects you in your life.
What?
So are you and him still together?
We are.
Okay, so this was actually a love story. Okay, I love that for you.
Me
I
too.
love
We just
that for you.
literally like 2 weeks ago celebrated 17 years of marriage.
Yes, 17. You go, bro. I saw you. Oh my
There you
God.
go. So
Yeah.
it was a long love
Like
story.
part two. I feel like we only scratched the surface. I feel
Yeah,
like
that kind of
we need
stressed
part
me
two.
out.
We need
You
part two.
stressed
Like,
me out I feel Mormon today and I feel stressed. I feel stressed out.
Girl, just you
I'm
wait.
just playing.
Just you wait. Just you wait.
I'm just saying, I'm being real because we're almost coming up on our time and we didn't even. I feel like we only got.
We didn't get to
We
July.
need to go below the surface.
We didn't even get. We did
Huh?
not get below the surface. We just scratched the surface.
We need to get down there.
We've
Yeah.
only
Well-
just given people the. Oh my God! Oh wow! We've only opened the door. We didn't even get into the nitty gritty and oh my!
We didn't even get into the Black History racist part.
We did. We did because we got into the explanations of everything. We got into just breaking some stuff down because a lot of people like myself. I'll be real. Like I knew about LDS because I watched Sister Wives. Like who didn't watch Sister Wives?
Yeah.
Like real. Like who didn't watch Sister Wives? If you didn't watch Sister Wives, at least one episode for real.
Yeah.
We all know Cody was.
Hey, guess what? Fun fact. Cody Brown is one of my brother's best friends.
Oh God. I can't.
Well, it sounds like I missed the juicy part of it, but for the part that I caught, I'm so glad you overcame that. And I hope that we can get another session in, and that I don't show up late this time. Sorry, guys.
Oh, girl, you could have. But yeah, we gotta get part two going in on this because we definitely need part two because we didn't do anything. Like what we did, we educated the viewers on some stuff. You got some stuff out. And honestly, like at the end of the day, like the things that you're saying, like I feel like the LDS because I know how they are. The latter day, like they're about to try to come counsel me and tell me I'm bad and like all the good stuff. Because that's what they do. I think you're looking at me too. You're
gonna start seeing, how like the guy in the sky, the man, they start putting stuff in your feed. Your social media feeds are about to like pop off with like Mormon stuff, Mormon propaganda.
Shit,
Like,
they know not to knock. They knocked on my door this morning and they know better. Okay, listen. Over here in this neighborhood, no. If they put that in my feed, I'm gonna start laughing and I'm gonna tag both of you.
Tag me all you want to.
We gonna go to church together. We are gonna join. We're gonna join membership. We gonna hold hands and sing Kumbaya. I'm with it.
I got people in the chat already talking about yes, we definitely need part two. Give me part two. Facebook is saying give me part two. YouTube is saying give me part two. Instagram, they over here just saying all kind of craziness. But they want part two. You got to come back to part two because we're at our time, and we got to get part two. I think we did the setup and all that good stuff, but we got to get to part two, like very point blank. But I'll set that up, so hopefully you'll get on part two. Well, y'all know you will, because we ain't done. We are not done. Like
I'm happy to do part two, part three, whatever.
But we ain't done. So I'm gonna give everybody their 30 seconds because we got to get out of here. We got to respect everybody's time and everybody's love. So I'm gonna have you go first. Q, you go, and then I'll take us home. So number love. So go ahead.
No, just thank you for tuning in and showing a little bit of interest. This is my very first time really publicly talking about it and part of my healing journey. I really want to respect others so that I I don't mean to offend. I just need to make that disclaimer. I'm not here to offend or hurt anybody. If there's any of my family that are watching or that tune in, I sincerely love you and wish the best for you. And if this is what works for you and makes you happy, then I support that. And I just hope that you can give that to me in return. I really, really thank you both for having me. Thank you, Riz. Like I already know, you already know, like so much love from the bottom of my heart. Me and Scotty both just so much love and gratitude for you. And Q, I look forward to talking to you some more. So for part 2, y'all get some questions, do some research so that you can like drill me because I definitely would love to do a part 2 and give you guys a little bit more of why I am at where I'm at now. So just thank you so much.
Awesome. I do want to revisit that one, guys, because I'll be having this same conversation. Anywho, keep an open mind and an open heart, and love and light to you all. Sorry for my tardiness. I'll be back and around. Go ahead, Riz. Love you.
What you finna say? Love you, mean it. Anyways, like I always say, like I always try to talk about on the show, mental health is very important to me. So if you know somebody out there that needs some help, please make sure that they text 988 for mental health awareness. We love everybody. I don't care if it's something big. I don't care if it's something small. Get some help. It's okay. It's okay. I go to therapy. Everybody needs a little therapy at least once a year in their life. So I'm being serious. Get some therapy in your life if you need it. Because mental health is just like if you got a cold, just like if you got something else going on, get some mental health. It's super important. And please make sure you follow us on YouTube at Riz Digital. So please make sure you follow us on YouTube, watch the show, like, share, and subscribe. You can get us on YouTube. You can get us on Facebook, on both Q's page, on my page, Instagram, Snapchat, because they showed me how to do Snapchat and all that other good stuff. And also, as I always love to say, love you ladies. Y'all have a beautiful night. Thank you for joining me.